Meeting order. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Robert Deb,
Yes. Here.
Linda Musa, here. Mike Gunner,
Here.
Brian McHenry, here. James Dyson,
Present.
Jerry Hayes, Tim Waters,
Present. We have quorum. Minutes of the September 13th, 2021 meeting.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the minutes of September 13th, 2021 as presented.
Or moved and supported to approve the minutes of the September 13th, 2021 meeting as presented. Any corrections? If not, you call the roll, Lisa.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Minutes are approved. Presentations and communications, public hearing, FY 2021-22 budget. I need a motion or just,
This would just be any time for the public to speak on the actual budget itself.
okay.
I'd like to, please.
Go ahead.
Ray Jones, 418 Beagle. I just wanted to ask if in the budget, two items are covered. The ongoing maintenance necessary for the footbridge up by 223 and doing something with the old pool, no matter how limited it is. I just asking if those two items are covered.
Do you want me to answer that now? Can I clarify just for the footbridge, are you referring to the steel truss bridge?
Yes,
or
yes.
the rotary bridge?
No, the steel one up by 223.
Okay.
Yes.
That is not in this year's budget. It is in our capital improvement plan because it does need some major repairs that at this time the village cannot afford to pay for on its own. It's expected to be about $100,000. With my intent being to really work on the capital improvement plan this upcoming year and try to find some different funding sources through some grants and different things for the village to try to start taking care of some of these maintenance items. As far as the old pool, it is also in the capital improvement plan. I'm working with Brent to try to figure out, we have an estimate that was provided before I started, and I apologize, I don't know the date off top of my head, but it was quite costly to remove it and do some different things. So he and I have been talking about maybe some different options where we can still get that filled in, but save a little bit of money. So that'll be something that we'll work through. And again, we'll come back to council once we have more information in the cost. Because I think that was around 52,000. Thank you, Brent.
To fill it in.
That was to fill it in and to remove all the concrete. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Could we fill it in? What's it going to be used for? Because what we don't want to do is just fill it in and create issues down the road, depending on what the use will be and things like that. So we'll also be getting our Parks and Rec Board involved in that discussion and trying to just get some more input from some of our boards and utilize them a little bit better. So definitely on our radar. But if you have any other projects, let me know, because I really want to beef up our capital improvement plan and start trying to get some maintenance items on there and checked off the list.
Sure. I just want to make one more comment about the pool, because you're new. I would assume that you've been filled in about the necessity of whatever use is there has to be recreationally related. You know that,
Yes, that has been shared with me.
because of the $250,000 loan, or grant that the village got years ago when we made improvements to Florida, I don't know, how long, 10 years ago, whatever it was.
Yes, that absolutely has been shared with me, and another reason I just feel it's important to include our Parks and Rec board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the budget? Not, we're moving on to public comment items on the agenda. Hearing none, we'll move on to the agenda.
Excuse me, I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to move to amend the agenda to change item 2 and 3 under new business to switch their positions in our discussion, please.
It is
Yeah, I'll second that.
moved in second to talk about item 3 and item 2. Any comments or questions on that? We call the roll, Lisa.
Mike,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Agenda is approved. With unfinished business, first item, resolution, comprehensive fee schedule.
So at the last meeting, we discussed the fee schedule, and this item was tabled pending some additional information from myself and staff. With the question being about the annual hauler's fee. And it was proposed to be $15, and if that was enough to cover our costs. I did go back and talk to staff about our time doing this. We estimate that actual costs, and I averaged this based on wages, but from our administrative secretary Holly all the way to Brandon and Lisa, because their wages do differ, and took an average. It was about $79 and some change. So I'm proposing that annual fee just be $80 to round it up instead of a weird odd amount. So that is the only change that is in this comprehensive fee schedule from the last meeting. With that being said, I am still recommending that we do not do a water and sewer increase. However, I do know that that has been a concern of councils not to repeat history. So I did put in here an additional sheet that is currently outside of the recommendation, just showing what a 1% increase would look like if that is the route that council wanted to go. Again, if that is, the motion would need to be amended to insert that 1% increase into the fee schedule. Either way, regardless of the motion that council makes tonight, I do, and it is my intention to in May to move forward with Mr. Holland to do another look at the rate analysis that he did previously, just to see if there are any recommended amendments to that that he would have for us, and that will come back to council at that time. And will definitely give us some good insight for the upcoming years as far as increases and whatnot.
Any questions?
I don't know if I have a necessarily a question. Danielle, I just want to make sure I'm accurate with this. So as I look at page 21 out of 180 in our packet, that's what we were looking at. And then if I go back, but that's without the 1% increase. That's what we had discussed, what you had recommended, or are recommending, okay. And then if I go to,
And
Correct.
I think it's page 16, actually, now that I'm sorry. 16 is the recommended, that's our current rates with no change. Page 21 would be with the 1%
with the 1%,
increase.
okay, thank you, so 16 is the other, okay.
Yes, sorry, I was just scrolling down and realized that was.
That's all right.
So, what, again, just to clarify, I'm recommending that we have no increase this year, that we do the amended rate study in May. So if council chooses that they do want that 1%, you would need to just amend or make a motion to amend the fee schedule to include the 1% increase. Otherwise, if you're good without it, it would just be to adopt it as presented. That was more kind of supplemental information, so you'd have a picture of what those fees would look like.
So we're looking at, if we just look just simply at the very first meter size rates that are given, it's a 12-cent increase on that particular size, is what I'm seeing. On the page 16, it's $12. With the 1% increase, it's $12.12.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's outside village limits. It's, I believe, it's
It is outside.
606 for inside.
For inside, correct. Thank you. Yeah, I was just looking down that
And 6,000.
section for section. It's, well, I think that, in my opinion, that you said it best, not to repeat history. I am in favor of a 1% increase versus the non-increase, if you will. I don't know how other council members feel about that.
Well, I'm comfortable only for the fact that Danielle had a discussion with John Holland. We've never had water studies done before. So if he recommends that we're all right for now, I see your point of not repeating history, but I'm comfortable with it.
John Holland, obviously very reputable. There's no two ways about that as well.
And just, I guess, as a refresher for everybody too, Bob is correct. I did speak with John about our position, and currently he did agree that we would be okay not raising rates this year. That in no way do I want to imply that we should go multiple years without looking at these. And again, regardless of the motion you guys make, I think it's very vital that we do, I mean, it's no charge to the village to bring him back and have him look at that. So that's definitely in our best interest, just to make sure that we are looking at good. You know, our picture today is very different than the picture he was looking at when this rate analysis was first completed.
But I was also looking ahead at the lab, and that's one of those capital improvement projects that we will be having coming up. And I'm not able to locate the actual page, but I believe there was a 3 years or so, 3 years down the road or so for X amount of money for that new lab, because the wastewater treatment plant, what we are purchasing is only, or paying for, is only the plant itself. And the lab will be coming down the road as well as other materials. And that's the other reason that I should clarify, that I'm also looking for that 1% increase, simply because we've got other things that we need to pay for. Example with the pool paid for just the pool, didn't pay for the furniture, concession stand, etc. Same thing's gonna be happening at the wastewater treatment plant. It's gonna pay for the plant, but not for the lab, not for the electrical board, etc., etc. That is gonna need to be upgraded to the 21st century. And that was on that capital improvement page, as I was stating.
Yes, and that cost is $150,000, and that's, you are correct, it's in capital improvement.
Thank you.
My only point would be that that would come out of the sewer service charge. That would be the increase, not the water,
I understand what you're saying, Mike.
just the wastewater treatment.
That's a good point.
Sewer.
No, that's a good point.
We are paying off the third of the 4 water treatment plant bonds in fiscal year 21-22. So that's another 40,000 and a half. So following Danielle's recommendation, I feel that, you know, if we go back, talk with John from Michigan Rural Water in May, talk about all the things that we've talked about, not just rates, but also, you know, the unit description, that sort of stuff. I think we can take a look then, but as long as, you know, I think we were a little bit more conservative last year in raising the rates. And I think as Danielle proposed or explained, that we're gonna be sitting a little bit, quote, prettier than we thought we would be. So again, we're not here to, you know, to try to make a ton of money. We're not
No.
here to try to do this to the residents, because I get that we're trying to protect, you know, the residents' fiscal well-being, but you know, we're setting aside that those revenues in order to do projects down the line. And I think based on Danielle's recommendation, based on John's recommendation, we sit this one out for a year and, you know, we'll talk about it in May.
And I do feel completely comfortable with our budget. We are getting some capital projects done. I think more than we have the last few years, and we are putting aside reserves. One, the required reserves for USDA plus additional reserves. We're looking at about a full year of reserves in sewer, which is definitely, I mean, sewer infrastructure, water infrastructure is very costly, but I do feel really comfortable with where we're at. And it's a really fine line of charging enough to cover our expenses without making a ton of money either that we're just holding on to. So definitely, I mean, either way, it's hard and it's finding that balance.
Can you refresh my memory? Does the budget include the additional staffing? at the
Yes,
plant?
yes.
Okay. I can see this going either way.
Well, I think
I
she just
think-
made an important point stating that we're setting aside the requirements of the Michigan Rural Water, or the DEA, sorry, for the loan, the requirements for the future improvements, but also we are still capturing a little bit more to do some other infrastructure improvements down the line, which is correct, Danielle. So again, to be cautious of what the residents can afford and what they've obviously spoken up to us, I think we need to play this one out and say, okay, we're getting by, this is a break, should be a break-even fund, it's an enterprise fund. It's got to pay for itself. We can't rob Peter to pay Paul on it. It has to pay for itself in order to produce the water, sell the water, and clean the sewage. So again, setting aside that money for the future improvements that's required, as well as having a little bit extra to do the improvements that are coming up, that we know are coming up, I think, again, it satisfies me for the 0% increase for now.
Yeah, I would just hate to have to then hike rates down the line. So that's the only thing I would hedge against, the 1% increase now to avoid 4 or 5 later. But I'm comfortable either way. As long as we revisit this in May.
Live on YouTube, want to try that?
Absolutely. Like I said, regardless of what direction we go tonight, that I think is vital for us to have that most up-to-date information, not only for you guys, but for our citizens as well.
I would agree that we just write it out after what we've just been through and revisit it in May. So that would be my feeling.
So if someone would like to make that motion,
I move to approve the resolution adopting the comprehensive fee schedule effective October 1st, 2021 as presented.
Second.
moved and seconded to approve the resolution adopting the comprehensive fee schedule effective October 1, 2021 as presented. Any other questions, comments? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Tim,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
With hesitancy, yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, the motion carried. Next action item is ordinance adopting village ordinance section 21.004 and eating and drinking establishment license.
Council, so this ordinance change actually stems from the comprehensive fee schedule that was just adopted, as does actually the next one, but what I am proposing that we do is in our ordinance, currently we identify fees specifically. I have actually am proposing that we amend that to reference our comprehensive fee schedule. So essentially what happens is the comprehensive fee schedule becomes an exhibit or an appendix rather to our ordinances. Every year we look at that. It in the long run saves us time and money not having to amend a specific amount every year. So it'll reference that fee schedule. And again, we should be looking at that every year. So that's really what that change is. So it doesn't limit us from ever changing fees. It just will refer to that.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the ordinance as presented, amending the village ordinance section 21.004, eating and drinking establishments licenses, section 23.002, public dances dance hall license, section 25.001, auctioneers license, and section 27.002, transient merchants license required effective October the 1st, 2021.
Support.
There's motion moved and supported. Can you call a roll on that motion as presented?
Mike,
Yes.
Barb. Yes. Gwen,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, the motion carried. Next action item is the ordinance 2021-09A title 21, 23, 24, 25.
These are actually sections 149, 150, and 191.
Oh, okay.
And again, council, this is the same thing. So this is specific to the sewer and water and building permits. It's just referring us to that comprehensive fee schedule that's been adopted.
So I move to approve the ordinance as presented, amending village ordinance section 149.006, permit and fee, 149.012, sewer connections, 150.010, rates and charges, 191.001, schedule effective October 1st, 2021.
Support.
Motion called and supported. You call the roll on that motion as presented?
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, the motion carried. New business. First action item is to approve hard cider tasting liquor license application.
I move to allow Heather Marks to submit a one-time event special liquor license application to the MLCC for the cider tasting taking place on November 3rd, 2021.
Second.
Moved and seconded to allow Heather Marks to submit a one-time event special liquor license application to the MLCC for the cider tasting taking place on November 3rd, 2021.
I'm gonna vote no on this one. I just don't think it's good for our community to have the liquor downtown. I'm all for Yuletide. Just want to explain that I personally wouldn't be in favor of having the liquor here.
Any other comments or questions? If not, you can call the roll.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Tim,
No.
Barb, yes, Bob,
Yes, motion carried. Next action item,
So this is the part,
Yeah,
will be the wages.
wages. Discuss the wages first.
So council, as previously discussed, I am recommending the attached wage scale, which does include a 3% cost of living to our employees. Cost of inflation is expected to be as high as 5.4% this year. I think that it's important that we definitely try to keep our employees here and retain them. We have really, really good employees on staff, and I just would hate to lose them to other places that are more competitive. This still, I think, leaves us definitely short in the long run, but at least helps a little bit. It is included in the proposed budget for the upcoming year. So I do feel confident that we are able to sustain that, and if you have questions, let me know. We will still move forward with in our projects or long-term goals or near future goals, a salary study and wage scale review and things like that.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the resolution adopting the FY 21-22 wage scale as presented, effective October 1st, 2021. Support.
Moved and supported to approve the resolution adopting the FY 2021-22 wage scale as presented, effective October 1, 2021. Are there any other questions?
I got one real quick, just
Yeah.
for the planning commission. I know we talked about, or generally any of the boards, that if they don't meet, they don't get paid. Is that correct? Is that the way we kind of plan on doing that, or?
It actually is in there that planning commission would no longer
So you're
be
still
paid.
recommending that they not be paid?
Correct, yes.
And it also would be where we are not having that increase as well, correct?
Correct, yes. The wage increase is specific to employees only and does not include any board at all. If this budget goes through, the only remaining board would be the council, and the library board would be paid. The rest of the boards would be volunteer.
All right. You can call the roll now.
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
No.
Barb,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, the motion carried. We're going on resolution adopting the FY 21-22 budget.
So I can answer any questions you guys may have. I know that we've talked about this a lot, but one thing that I do want to follow up with you on from our last committee of the whole meeting, the topic of the trash pickup for the River Raisin Festival was brought up, which is not included in the proposed budget. I did reach out to Mr. Butler, Howard, thank you. I was drawing a blank. I have not heard back from him yet, so I will follow up again. And I did talk to Rick, which he does serve on the, I believe, kind of chairs or leads the committee. I have let him know that it's in the village's intent moving forward to be a good partner, to work with them. This event is a huge thing for our community. It's very good. So I am actually going to be attending those committee meetings moving forward. The next one is scheduled for next Tuesday. So what I would like to recommend to council is that we leave it out of the budget. However, the condition with that being that you give me some time to attend this committee meetings, to work with the festival committee to see if we have any other ideas, options, and then if we come to, and maybe there's not, maybe this is the best solution. And if we come to that, then it would just be presented to this council as a budget amendment to cover that. It's certainly my intent to work with them, but I would like to have that conversation with both the committee and with the Boy Scouts here in Blissfield. So again, I would just like to leave it, but know that that is something that's on my project list and will come back to you with some form of an update, whether it be an amendment or whatever else we can determine would be a good solution.
Any other questions on that budget?
I'll make a motion to move to approve the resolution. I already did that, didn't I? Yes. And then we seconded it. We need
That
a
was for
second.
the wage scale.
That was the way.
Oh, there was a wage. Okay. Move to approve the resolution adopting the FY 21-22 budget as presented, effective October the 1st, 2021.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the resolution adopting FY 2021-22 budget as presented effective October 1, 2021. You can call the roll, Lisa.
Barb? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. The motion is carried. Action item 4 is amending the village code title 7 compensation for planning commission.
Council, so according to, or with the budget, we are proposing to no longer pay the planning commission. So this ordinance is just, the amendment would be to repeal it. In general, as there be no reference to a wage scale or wages themselves.
Motion.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance as presented, amending village ordinance Title 7 compensation for planning commission effective October 1st, 2021.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the ordinance as presented, amending village ordinance Title 7 compensation for the planning commission effective October 1, 2021. You can call the roll, Lisa.
Mike?
No.
Tim?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
James?
No.
Barb? Yes. Bob?
Yes. Motion carried. Next action item is ordinance amending village code Title 5 compensation for public officials and Title 9 compensation for zoning administrator.
These changes are similar in nature to the fee schedule. The ordinances are being amended to reference the annual adopted wage scale. Again, the intent here is we can in the future make changes as needed, but every time it'll save us time and money not having to amend that ordinance.
Council approve the ordinance as presented, amending village ordinance Title 7 compensation for planning commission. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Yes, that's right.
One
below.
Sorry, lost it. Number 6, right?
Oh, did it?
I think it's a
It
typo.
should copy, yeah,
Yeah.
copy, sorry,
Sorry.
presented amending the village code Title 5 compensation for public officials and Title 9 compensation for zoning administrators.
Sorry, that's my bad.
Support.
Moved and seconded on that motion. Can you call the roll as presented?
Barb? Yes. James?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes, that motion carried.
For the record, that's a Wanacott, that's what we call it. Remember, we used to cut and take stuff out, things like that.
I was trying to save some time.
Bricks.
6 now, Danielle?
Yes.
Approve the FY 2021 annual insurance policy.
Move council approve the renewal fiscal year 2021-22 property and liability insurance to the MML liability property pool in the amount of $63,436.
Support.
Moved and supported to renew the FY 21-22 property and liability insurance to MML liability and property pool in the amount of $62,436. Any comments, questions? You can call the roll, Lisa.
Tim?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Barb? Yes. Bob?
Yes. Motion carried.
Real quick, Bob, I just noticed on that, everything's broken down by cost factor, and I know we probably haven't technically sold the Explorer. That's minimal. Once that's gone, that'll change that liability pool insurance.
So that credit is actually included in the information, that credit invoice is from the sale of that. It does reduce it a little bit, so
Great.
we'll take anything we can get though.
Resolution number 7, approving FY 2021 year-end budget amendment.
Council, so just to be very honest with you, I'm not in love with how I presented this to you this year. So first, I guess I'd like to apologize for that. My intent was to actually have each line identified. However, that was a challenge this year due to a large number of individual expense lines in the negative. A majority of that being due to the benefits not being individually budgeted. They were budgeted under benefits, and then really we should be expensing them out to accurately track health, retirement, things like that. So what I did do is by fund. So obviously the first couple pages is general fund where we have the most individual funds. I would say overall, for the most part, our employees did an exceptional job of staying within their budgets. So while there are specific expense lines that are over budget, overall, across the board, we were under budget. So these amendments are within our total, what you guys approved as total expenses are actually under. I am also, we do have an increase in revenues from what was budgeted in our general fund. So again, you will see that there's about 22,885 increased expenses, but overall is under. And then each of the funds following, you'll see similar things with not really, I think general fund was the one that had the biggest change. Municipal street revenue is down, there is a decrease there, and that's due to the motion that was made previously before there was a specific amount of taxes that would go into that fund. And then the rest would go into general. There was a previous motion to put all of the taxes in general. There still is a transfer budgeted, and Brandon will make. Did you do that already? Okay, it'll be on the 30th of 375,000 to municipal streets. So they're still getting the revenue. It's just that specific tax revenue is where you see the decrease. And all of that was in the presented budget as well. And then I believe that's the big things. But if you definitely have questions, let me know. Oh, I guess two really quick, sewer looks like a massive decrease in revenues. I list, I think, 6.5 million. Don't be alarmed by that. That is only because we budgeted the full funding for the wastewater treatment plant upgrades from the USDA loan, which we've not received because the project is ongoing. So that revenue is decreasing by the portion of the USDA loans that we have not received. It's not that we're actually losing that much revenue.
Any other questions on those budget amendments? You have a motion on it.
I make a motion, council approve the resolution approving the fiscal year 2021 year-end budget amendment as presented.
Or
Moved and supported to approve resolution approving FY 2021 year and budget amendment as presented. You can call the roll, Lisa.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Tim,
yes,
Gwen,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, and motion carried. Next action item is Michigan Municipal League.
Sorry, really fast. I do want to thank Brandon for his help with that too. He did help with those amendments and I appreciate that. I should have said that before, so thank you, Brandon.
On budget, that motion carried. We approve Michigan Municipal League liability and property pool 2021 ballot.
So we did receive a ballot for 3 directors for Michigan Municipal League Liability and Property Pool, which is our insurance provider. There are 3 openings and there are 3 candidates, so you can vote for none or up to the 3. They are Robert Clark, the mayor of Monroe, Thad Beard, the manager of Rockford, and Dan Swallow, the manager of the city of Tecumseh. Whatever the motion, if you choose to vote for any of these, the ballot will be mailed in on the village's behalf. If you have questions, let me know. There's a little description about each of the candidates in there for you. I only personally know Dan, so I'm sure they're all wonderful though.
We have that motion out there.
are we going to put in a name in there, Danielle, or just give you the permission to make that vote?
So if you would need to specify which or any of, again, you can vote for all 3 or 1 or 2 of them or none. You would specify their name, yes.
And
You can also provide a write-in candidate.
and you would be the person obviously casting the vote on behalf of us.
Correct, yes, I would sign the vote on behalf of the motion that's made tonight.
I make a motion, we vote for Robert Clark, Thad Beard, and Dan Swallow for pool directors for Michigan Municipal League Liability and Property Pool, and authorize the village administrator to cast the vote on behalf of the governing body.
Support.
Motion and supported. You call the roll on that motion as presented.
Tim,
yes,
James,
Yes.
Gwen, yes. Barb,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. We're to the reports, EDA Main Street. Parks and Rec. Water treatment plant.
Water treatment plant, I have a couple of things I wanted to make note of there. I just always appreciate Nora's organization, and I like how she's got things marked off. And I can see that we're obviously, it looks to be a little bit ahead of the game. She's got some things here for, September the 10th is completed, November the 15th is completed, as well as a project on December the 31st that is completed. So kudos for her. I again, just love how she puts it out there. There's the agenda marked off when it is completed, and I appreciate that.
We'll be sure to pass that on.
We go back to Heather Mark's report.
Go ahead, go ahead.
There's a collaboration with Black Raven Developers. Do we know much about that?
So this is in regards to the old Frosty Boy property. To be completely honest, I'm jumping into this conversation, so definitely am not the best person to give you a full update. But I can talk to Heather, who I sure would be willing to send out some additional information. I think we're in the very beginning steps. Nothing's really been decided, and it's something that the VDA board and council moving forward would be a part of regarding whatever happens there. We do have a meeting scheduled, I believe this Friday or next Friday, to talk to MEDC and to see if we can get some support or help for a potential developer there and do something with that. But
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
very preliminary. I mean, there's been a rough sketch of what could go there, but nothing, no final decision, no committed investor or developer at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I know that's not super helpful.
Heather's not attending the meeting. this evening.
She was with
I knew
the
she had an appointment or something.
Yuletide
Yeah,
and then,
Yuletide committee
oh,
meeting.
yes.
Okay, I was just curious, how things were going with McKenna. Does anybody know the status with McKenna?
For the TIF or the
Mhm.
comprehensive plan?
Well, a little bit of both, please.
So I know on the TIF, they were working on compiling some information and she had reached out to them and not heard back as of last week. That may have changed. The comprehensive plan, we do need to get an update from them on where that is at exactly. I know that they did that preliminary meeting, but that's all that's been completed so far.
Okay, and I thought that there was a time frame or timeline with McKenna, so I was just curious.
Yes, there is for both of those projects. The TIF renewal needs to be completed by October 2022.
Right.
Really before that, but
Yeah,
so yes, I know she is very on top of that and making sure we hit our deadlines there.
okay.
And we have, building permit list.
Do we have an idea for the softball league, how many finally participated in the program? How many adults or programs or teams?
I do not, but we could find out.
Okay,
I
just
can tell
curious.
you that, I think there's 16.
Yeah.
16 total, is
Yes.
that's what they're ended up being, okay, I know that, what the final thing was, okay. And Parks and Rec has had a meeting, they met on Tuesday, the 21st of September.
They did, yes, and that was a good meeting. We talked about a lot of things, a lot of ideas. They're taking a look at their bylaws and really trying to help them and Heather really develop what their roles and responsibilities are. We'd like to get some feedback from them on what do they want to be a part of. I definitely think we're underutilizing that group and have a lot of potential there. So that'll be coming to council in the upcoming months. And I think, again, we've got some good people on that board that can really help move some projects and ideas forward.
And then I noticed that we're gonna be having in October for the committee of the whole meeting, that'll be the big discussions regarding the pool, how much it cost to have our pool this year, how things went with the help, what we need to do for next year in preparation for the season 22.
Correct, yes, it is our intent. We had a lot of successes this year, a lot of things that we learned this year as well and can do better. There's always things we can improve on, so really that conversation is gonna be focused on celebrating those successes and what we can do better moving forward, so.
I know it's down the road a little bit, but who do we have in plan to attend that meeting? Obviously, council will be there. My assumption is Heather, Parks and Rec, any of the lifeguards or things of that nature. How will that work?
Heather and I for sure will be there. We did invite the Parks and Rec board who did share an interest in attending, to be completely fair to them, because we're trying to set that foundation. They are not and haven't really in the past been super involved in this.
Right.
However, moving forward, we would like to have some input and feedback from them. So I believe that a couple of them plan on attending. I'm not positive, and I will confirm the date with them as well. But that's kind of the plan. And again, I think that we need to get that kind of good set out or lay out foundation for the board so they know what their expectations are and that you and them are on the same page. So I think those bylaws will help with that a lot. But the pool, I think they want and should be kind of under their scope or realm of things to help the village with.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
We're on the public items not on the agenda. Letter from Sue and Larry Fetzer, September 24th, 2021, 401 Fairhaven Street. To the village manager in writing because of the concerns over what is happening in our village. I have no idea what the issue is with our police chief. But my gut feeling that there was a rush to fire the chief without me thinking through the consequences that such a move could cause. Was the handbook policy followed? Was it proper documentation recorded? Was what he did deserving of termination instead of disciplinary action? My experience with handling incidences is that there's a first verbal warning and proper documenting. Then if the situation continues, it follows for one or two more written warnings again with documentation. This is the only way you can justify terminating someone's job. Without it, I feel that we be setting up the village for a suit due to unjust, improper protocol. It appears that from what I witnessed that there has not been any major issues with our chief. He's well respected and liked not only by his coworkers, but by the people of Blissfield. We already have a history of dismissing previous manager who I felt was totally let go without any strong reason, other than some appeared not to like him. It is the pattern of how we handle people that we employ rather than work with them. We choose to eliminate them. We had opportunity to work and develop the young man of his career path, but instead portraying a good image of Blissfield. We chose not to and left Blissfield with bad tarnish. His termination also came with cost to the residents of Blissfield. I sense the same scenario is repeating itself, and again, it worries me. Not only does it worry me, but also begin to question, does the council truly represent the people of Blissfield? Our village is known for friendliness and safety to raise a family, and we're willing to jeopardize all of this. These are the things that people are beginning to question. I have no idea what the council schools are, but we must realize that one of the reasons we probably have not had an incident here is because of our excellent police force. They not only protect us from any criminal activity, but there are many incidents where they go way beyond their call of duty. Many times they appear to a fire ambulance call before the ambulance and fire trucks ever appear. The bottom line is we need them. If we think we can survive with a weak and understaffed sheriff's department, we're fooling ourselves. The repercussions to residents could be horrible. It will provide us with less security in our community, plus no doubt the devaluation of our homes. There's a reason why people chose to live here, and these are the actions that are being proposed. It makes one question, why would they ever want to come and live here? Thank you, Sue and Larry Fetzer. Any other public comment on items not on the agenda?
President, I do have one.
Okay.
I know I'm not technically public, so I did just want to share with the community and council that the Blissfield Area Little League is doing a community project day on October 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they will be meeting at Farber Field. They were able to get some donations to help fund this day. I believe have about 40 volunteers that have signed up already. There's a lot of different things that can be done at both Farber and Bach Little League. So I just would like to invite everybody, if you're available, to come attend. Lena's has graciously like donated lunch for the volunteers that day. So I guess, again, just inviting everybody to come, and then just would like to publicly say thank you to Lena's and the donors and the Little League group for doing this and being good partners to the village.
What day was it again, Danielle?
Friday, October 8th.
Gotta take a motion to
Well,
adjourn.
actually, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the right time, but I kind of miss having the officers' reports as well. The treasurer, the clerk, and the administrator. I would like, I guess, request to see your report attached to our packet if possible. That would be ideal.
So those I was doing at the first meeting. I did miss mine last meeting because I was trying to get that project list. Do you want to continue just the once a month, or are you wanting to see them each
And
meeting?
it's up to council.
'Cause I did-
I thought it was nice to see them attached to our meeting and be able to address
We do it as a first.
your updates, but
Right, I was rotating, so at the first meeting, I was having police department, clerk, treasurer, administrator, and Todd's report, and then the second meeting doing these, that way, because I was trying not to overload you guys with reports, but definitely at council's pleasure, whatever you'd like to see, there we can do.
I think you always have enough on your plate, and again, just keeping us in the know and keeping us, at hand, task at hand, reminding you, and then that way, it's just better communication, I think, with us to have you give us some sort of report at the meeting, and
Okay,
then we can bring up questions.
absolutely.
And then regarding that, in your weekly summary that you did send us last week, I want the public to hopefully listen to this. Our prospective officer that was approved to hire respectfully backed out of the position for personal reasons. So again, we were moving forward. We had a great candidate, somebody that could step right in and take off, and now we're back at square one. And there's municipalities out there that are beating down the door for officers, and we had a great potential one. And I wonder why that person backed out. That's all I'm saying.
Can I make one public comment?
Go ahead, stand up. You say your name and address, please.
Barb Schmidt, 321 Jefferson Street. I said I wasn't gonna talk, but I do have to say, my big concern with all of this is kind of what Mike just alluded to. When people Google Blissfield, say they're looking for an employment opportunity, they're gonna see drama, drama, drama. And that concerns me, because I don't think the top candidates are gonna come here when it's not obvious why we let go our other manager and why possibly we're letting go our chief. So, and that letter that the Fetzers wrote, I thought was well said, and I agree with what they said. So I just think if we wanna get the top candidates, I don't know that we'll get them with all the drama that seems to be occurring. And I have to say, I don't know you, Danielle, but I'm very impressed with you and how you handle meetings. And so I think you were a great pick, but I just want Blissfield to continue to get those great picks. And I don't know if we'll get them with the drama that seems to be occurring.
Thanks, Barb. Take a motion to adjourn. Yeah, go ahead. Say your name.
It's not about that. It's about a property that's not being maintained. My name is Carol Barnhart. I live on Kingsbury Court. And there is a gentleman there that mows in the spring and does not mow after that. His grass is like 17 inches long now. I did speak to Holly and I spoke to Danielle. And he apparently is coming back with a technicality saying that technically it's not 12 inches because it's laying on its side now. It's just a mess and there's a mattress leaning against the house and nothing I feel is getting done and it's very frustrating. We moved here 3 years ago because we thought it was just a nice little town and kind of discouraged right now. So.
Please don't be discouraged. What is the, do you know the particular address that you're referring to as Kingsbury Street, you say?
Kingsbury Court.
Kingsbury Court, thank you.
And I do have that address, Gwen, as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Do you know, ma'am, if anybody else has prior to you coming to the village, has anybody else been to the village to talk about this issue with this property? Do you know?
Well, somebody said they've never seen it as bad as it is this year. And somebody else said, well, I have an invisible fence, just, you know, nobody really, I feel like a narc because I don't know if it's anybody's job to drive around and see properties because I've never in 69 years seen a property like this. And I do have a picture if anybody wants to see it.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Okay.
You know, the council's.
Hi, Emily Mullins, 401 Guile. It's interesting when everybody talks about the drama and how Joe was fired and the chief's like, it's my understanding Joe was not fired. His contract ended and that was it. He wasn't fired. I think we could have done the public and Joe's future employers a favor by pointing out some of the things that weren't up to par with his performance, which led to his contract to not be renewed. So I think that might be a better, and going forward with the chief, people want to know, I understand, but to assume that somebody hasn't taken a job when they tell you it's because of a personal reason to make the jump, that it's because of something else. We don't have that information. They said it was for a personal reason. So to make the assumption that it's because of drama or because they don't like what's happened with the chief, we have no idea. So thank you.
I'd like to mention, we paid out Joe about $25,000
That's
when he
inaccurate.
left. So
That is
that is
inaccurate.
not accurate.
Yes, it is. And the reason I'll say that is because I had Lisa look it up.
Okay, where are we at, Lisa? How much did we pay him out?
There's approximately 16,000.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was because he wrote
What's
his
that?
own contract with the help of Jeff Jubai.
I can't remember the number specifically. I do think it was under 20,000.
Okay, and on top of the money that
I
it cost
sent
us
you
to
an email
see,
about that, as a matter of
on
fact.
top of the money that it cost us to do a search for a different candidate, you're absolutely right.
That
It
was
cost us around $30,000 to get rid of Joe.
And the amount of work that we're now making up for his inadequacies is over and above the $20,000. Thank you very much.
All right, can we take a motion to adjourn?
We have not gone backwards, we have gone forwards with interim Darwin McClary, and we've gone forwards with our new administrator, Danielle Gross. We have never gone a step behind.
A call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Moved and support to adjourn. You can call the roll.
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Barb, yes, Mike,